High school, you got one guy on your team that's amazing, right? Two guys, maybe. That's like amazing. In college, it's probably more like, five, six, seven guys. In the NFL, it's like every starter out there is pretty good. Where it was always the best guys where they were. That just tells you that, hey, now that the playing level is evening out in terms of talent, that makes you need to get an edge elsewhere. Whether it be culture, whether it be character, all the intangibles I like to talk to you guys about, violence, effort, passion, all that stuff weighs even more heavily on the game in the NFL because everybody's talented.
Danny, tell me about today's conversation. Who do we got coming in?
All right, so today you're talking to a bad man on the podcast.
Really?
Yes. You are talking to Jermaine Johnson, linebacker of the New York Jets. So, interesting story. His second game of his second season in the NFL, he tore his Achilles.
That sucks.
Yes, it did. So, right after that happened, I get a call from his marketing agent, and he proposes an opportunity for Jermaine Johnson and Crash Champions to do a marketing campaign. We came up with the idea of it's not how hard you get hit, but how you rebuild. We went out to meet him in California during his physical therapy. The dude's like 6'7", 250 pounds. And super nice guy, very charismatic. And I remember meeting with him. I was like, yo, dude, like, you want to have a push-up challenge?
Did you?
I did, yeah. And his response to me is like, don't hurt yourself, is all he said. But no, super charismatic, but a bit more about him. So he started off at a JUCO college, not some fancy big-time program. He appeared on the Netflix docuseries Last Chance U. He was drafted in the first round in 2022 by the Jets, and has been with them ever since. I can't wait to hear you discuss where the grit comes from, how his unconventional path shaped him, and what lessons he's learned from the NFL that translates to everyday life.
Excited for this one. This is PodCrash. One thing in looking back at your history, your story, that definitely I can appreciate is your ability to overcome adversity and keep the goal in mind. You're like a poster child for exactly that. So kind of first point of adversity that I've seen in the media was you having to go to JUCO, junior college, rather than to a bigger school at first because of academic scores. So from being ranked the number one player in Minnesota, when did you find out that was going to be the case, and how did that news sit with you at first?
Well, first things first, I grew up, I didn't have anybody around me that I seen excel, on the football field. I mean, to the level that I have thus far, I didn't see that. So I didn't really have anything to kind of look up to or set a goal for. I just kind of knew what I knew. And unfortunately, I didn't prioritize school. I didn't prioritize academics. And obviously, like you said, taking the junior college route, I paid the consequence for that. But it was nothing more than just blatant laziness, I like to say. And anytime I get a chance to talk to the youth, it's just like, hey man, you can't this stuff matters. It matters a lot. And it's so funny because I'll talk to my wife or soon to be wife, and I'll just say, like, I miss school. Like I miss learning new things. I miss being able to study and learn more about what I was interested in and stuff like that. So it's just very important to educate yourself. And not just that, it's the lessons that the system does teach you, just studying when you don't want to, getting stuff done when you don't want to. That's life, and what is also life, it's so funny, is the grading scale, right? You do so good, you get A's, 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 or B's, 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 B's. And then one bad grade can bring your GPA down, or one bad grade can bring everything down. And that's the kind of essence of life. You can do a lot of things right, but it takes one bad decision, one minor decision, and it'll all go wrong. So there's just a ton of value in the educational system that I'm glad I know now. I'm just glad I learned that lesson. I'm glad that now, as we're introducing more children into our family, that I have that lesson. She has that lesson. Obviously, she had no problems with school, but we just get to implement that to our kids. So just, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I went that route, and because it made me learn the hard way. Maybe I need that sometimes. Some people that needed that, and I did as a young adolescent.
Yeah, easy to understand where you came from, didn't see the importance of it, and view it totally differently today. I think the quote was, it was like admitting defeat for you at first, out of going to a smaller school. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%, man. It was one of my most embarrassing moments as a young man, because going out throughout the whole junior college process, every coach that came talk to me like, "Why are you here? You don't, like, you're not a junior college guy. You're so smart. You're so well spoken. You know what you're talking about. You know what to do. You know the next steps. So why are you here? And that's why I said early on, it's like it was just blatant laziness. And yeah, so anytime I can get a chance to talk to kids or the youth, it's just like, don't be lazy. Just knock it out now and save yourself a whole long, hell of a long road and less probability of being able to go to where you want to go. Now I'm grateful I was able to make it, but hell, I'll be damned if I didn't make the path more hard than it should have been for sure.
Interesting that the school they ended up going to, so the coach had a big influence on that decision, it seemed, right? So Coach Brown, how did he sway you?
So I was not gonna go to junior college actually. I was gonna do something called a gray shirt and just go to, I don't know, whatever. It was a Division I school like Kansas or Marshall or something like that. Like I just was like, I'm not going to junior college. I'm way too good. I'll do what I have to do. And what a gray cert is essentially, you go there, you sit out the first semester, you earn like a 2.6 or GPA above in that semester of school, and then you can get an academic scholarship. So that's what I was gonna do. But then Coach Brown, he drove up from Kansas actually to my home in Minnesota, which was like 9 hours. He goes, "Hey, I'm gonna drive up tonight to come talk to you and your family tomorrow. And that's all I need is just some time of yours." And I was like, okay.
Was he the only by the way that
So
drove up in person?
no, there's another school of coaches that drove up. It wasn't the head coach though. It was Dodge City. They drove to my house as well. But Coach Brown gets there and he's just like, "Hey, I get it. No one wants to go junior college, bro. I promise." He goes, "I promise to God, if you come here and you just listen to me and you do what you know you're supposed to do, you'll be able to choose anywhere you want to go in the country to play." I don't know why. I prayed about it. Maybe that's why God was speaking to me, but I prayed about it and I ultimately just said, "Hey, sounds good to me. Let's go." So I ended up going to Independence Community College off of that conversation, and that's all she wrote.
That's great. You think you learned anything there that you wouldn't have learned had you jumped into a big school at first?
Man, yes, yes. I tell people all the time, if I had to go Division I first and then go there, I don't think I would make it. I didn't know any better. I thought that's what college was. I thought college was independence because I went there out of high school. I didn't know anything else. So every time I would get a Division I player and called them bounce backs that would come there from the Division I school, they'd be so miserable and just like almost insufferable. And I would just in my head, I'd be like, bro, what's your problem? Like, it's not that bad. But me being where I am now, it was 100% that bad. I just didn't know any better, but God works in mysterious ways, and I was able to just kind of see the beauty in everything. I made lifelong friends. I had a good support system while I was there, and it just worked out so perfectly for what it was. I made the best of it.
It seems like you pass that story on to young people. What is it that you advise young people the most as far as maybe, when it comes to academics, especially because our industry is a blue collar industry, right? And we don't need college. Not that college is bad, but it's not needed to do well in our industry. So just curious as to what advice you give the young people.
Yeah, for sure. I get some of those occasionally. Like I said before, it's the lessons you learn while you're undergoing that. It's like it's so easy to be like, yeah, school's not for me. But then a lot of people just go home and then don't challenge themselves in any other aspect of their life. They just like to stay comfortable. That I'm not okay with. It's like, okay, school might not be for you. It wasn't for me at a point in time, but you still got to go choose to challenge yourself with something. You can't just say school's not for me and then just go play video games or smoke weed all day or, not really do anything productive or challenge yourself. So school, it's totally okay if school's not for you, but go seek another form of education, something that you're interested in, maybe a profession you'd like to do that, like you said, doesn't take a traditional college route. Go watch TED Talks, go study, go, look at case studies, go, challenge yourself in some aspect if that's the case. But, and then second, I got an opportunity to talk to my old team, Independence Community College. So they flew me out. Did you
I
watch
did. I
that?
saw that documentary a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so they cut some of my speech off because I got a little verbal there. But so I was basically telling the guys like, "Hey, if you haven't noticed, I'm the only guy from there that is here. I hope you know that. So those are the odds you're facing. Maybe one of you makes it to where I am. Maybe. And then what your coach is telling me, who's my old defensive line coach, he's now the head coach. But I was telling them, he's telling me some of you guys are not going to class, not turning in homework, junior college homework, by the way. Stuff's easy. It's not hard. Like it's not. It's not hard. I promise it's not hard. And you guys aren't doing these things right, and you're smoking weed, and you're just not representing yourselves the right way. I'm like, think about it. If your chances are already maybe only one of you make it where I am, and then you add that on top of it, now that little chance might go away. So I'm like, you guys, like, you gotta understand, you're playing with fire. Like you're playing with fire right now. So never put the pen to your story in anyone else's hands. You control all the controllables, and everything you can't control, leave that up to God or whatever you believe in. You know, I controlled what I can control to the best of my ability. And then whatever happened after that, I could live with because I know I mastered what I can master.
You know, I admire the mindset that you have around things because I've learned that your mindset and how you think and the goals that you set and your determination to get there make all the difference. And so it
100%.
definitely seems like it was NFL or bust for you. Was there a plan B that you never had to tell anybody or
No, I had no plan B. I had no plan B. I don't know. Maybe I worked at a hardware store senior year. Maybe I went back there or something, but this was the only plan until further notice for sure.
so how did you get that confident? Because the math I did, it's like 300 people a year make it in the NFL. So like
Yeah.
that's pretty it's easy to look at how talented you are, so I guess that builds confidence, but still in all, odds are really hard.
100%, man. And let me tell you something. There were guys that I played with, even at the junior college level, that rivaled my athleticism and rivaled my talents. So it wasn't just that. And I just kept saying to myself, like, why not me? Until I get a good enough reason why it can't be me, then I'm not gonna stop because I never could find one.
So, coming to the NFL, any kind of welcome to the NFL moments that you had? I know you really took off your 2nd year, right? Made the Pro Bowl your 2nd
Yeah.
year in, but kind of going back to the beginning, is it what you expected?
I love it, man. This is what I wanted football to be for me. It's just football. And if I mastered this, is all I had to be. And then school, you got to do school, then football. Or like I said, I worked at a hardware store senior year. So it was work, school, and football. So the fact and the blessing that I literally get to, this is work, me being on the call with you, that gets to be my work because I took God's gifts that He blessed me with very seriously. I think everyone is blessed with a specific gift, and it's on us to figure out what that gift is. And once we figure that out, it's again on us to honor God by just going all in on it. There's some people I know that are very gifted artists, painters, music makers, anything, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't fall in line with kind of what their parents think they should do or if it's financially makes sense for them. And I think that it sells yourself short if you go about life that way. Because I'm telling you, it didn't make financial sense or much sense for me to go in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, but I thought I was pretty damn good at this, and I thought I had a shot. And I think everybody has a talent like that. And I think you owe it to yourself to pull everything into that. And then if it doesn't work, okay, well, we can land on our feet, or even if you don't, pick yourself up and we'll go from there. But I think there's too many people nowadays that take safe routes when there's a very clear gift that you have, and I think it's on everybody to maximize that gift 100%.
Very good. You speak of your faith pretty openly. It's very clearly a big influence on you. That's from childhood, I assume, from your upbringing?
I mean, it was a little bit, but nothing brings you closer to the Lord than not really having nothing and you kind of being down and out. So I got closer to the Lord and got, more strong in my faith as I went through life because it's so funny. It's always like, it always felt like a movie to me in a sense is where it literally felt like I had nowhere to go. I didn't know what I was gonna do. It's like one of those escape room movies. It's like right before like everything's about to end or someone's about to drown or you're gonna die or something's about to happen, like the opening, the doors open and you're safe. Right. And then you're into the next room. And then I just keep putting faith into God that if I do end up in a position like that, there's gonna be a door that opens and I'll go right through it with full confidence. So that's kind of how I've been operating. And like I said before, as long as I master everything that I can master and control everything I can control, I got faith God's gonna always keep a door open for me.
Yeah, it's working well for you, right? So, hard to
Thank
dispute
you.
the evidence. Do you get any criticism for that? Because it seems in the world today less popular than it used to when I was younger. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but my perception is that people don't talk about it as much as I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was actually watching my service from Sunday because I wasn't able to go. So I was watching on my way to work this morning. He was just saying how, yeah, actually, kind of the contrary. It's becoming a little more of a brand and it's becoming a little more of a title, which makes it harder to make it be your lifestyle because it's kind of becoming a fad, like, oh, it's cool to represent that in that way, but you just got to live that every day. And it just kind of looks like the little things we were talking about, the little things. It's like you can be a good guy most of the time or do this right most of the time, but if you're not knocking out the little things, that's what's important to God is the little things. And that can look like anything in terms of, yeah, you were feeling it so good 2 hours after service, but then something bad happened in your life and now you're getting distracted, right? You're getting distracted and now you're not on your path anymore. That's what the devil, the enemy, wants to do to us. He wants to distract us and sway us in. And one of the most famous biblical stories is when Jesus is on the water. He's telling them to come walk out onto the water. Or John's asking, "Hey, can I come walk on the water?" He's like, "Yeah, come on." And he walks and he walks out there. And as he's walking closer to Jesus, he notices the waves and the wind is getting strong, and he starts to sink, basically symbolizing like, yeah, like when we had that strong connection with Jesus, whenever that was, whatever it was good. Everything's working. The connection's there. But then the wind and the water simulating life and distractions here and there, whatever there might be in your life, and that's when we start sinking and getting further away from Jesus. So that just spoke to me a lot this morning, and it's so true because whenever you just do the little things right, how Jesus wants you to walk, and how the Bible wants you to walk, just keep focused on that because life's gonna throw a hell of a lot of shit at you, and you just make sure you keep doing the little things right. I could come to find that you'll be okay.
Yeah, I share the same attitude of things work out, right? And the adversities, the struggles are going to come. Spent a lot of years wishing I could get rid of struggle in my life. And then I kind of learned that the struggles where all the opportunity lies, the struggles where great things happen. So even though I probably say it more firmer than I actually in my head believe it, I've learned to embrace the struggle. Like I don't really want more of it,
Yeah.
but I've learned to embrace it because that is where great things end up coming out of.
100%. And another thing that I tend to walk by is God is gonna lift his end of the couch every single time, but he's also gonna give you an opportunity to lift your end because he's not gonna do it for you. He'll give opportunity and put it there. And that's what I love about myself, pat myself on the back, because I always made sure I lifted my end of the couch.
Work ethic seems to be a big thing for you too. I heard you about being lazy at a time about academics, but that work ethic seems to be key to your success too. Besides just God given
Mhm.
talent, can you get there on talent alone?
No, nah, heavens no. And I found out along the way, some of my coaches just say, especially in my early development, like even at junior college, say I was going through some hard times or being late to class or not turning in a homework assignment, right? Because I'm still learning how to do that better. And calls me in, he's just like, you do all the hard things amazingly. Like you run faster than anybody. You're staying in the game longer than anybody. You're making all these plays. You're playing hurt. You're doing all this and that. Those are very hard things to do, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, what's easy to do? He goes, going to class on time's easy, right? Turning in a homework assignment, it is easy, right? So just in my early development, it was just kind of learning that how you do anything is how you do everything. So just going about everything that is your obligation that you signed up for, you're doing that how you would do chasing down a quarterback. So it sounds corny, but once you kind of go about all of your business that way, husband, partner, friend, son, football player, whatever it is, once you go about that and giving yourself wherever your feet are at 100%, and that was a big turning point for me is when I started looking at stuff like that.
I agree with those things 100%. I say do the hard things well, the rest of life gets really easy. It's the hard things. When I mentioned, your start in the NFL, you had your rookie year and then you really blew up your second year making the Pro Bowl.
Mhm.
Was that just experience in the league, the difference between year 1 and year 2? What do you attribute the leap to?
A couple things. Just me understanding that I'm here for a reason. I didn't just stumble into the NFL. Nobody stumbles into the NFL. There's way too many people that want to be here too bad. No one stumbles here. So just knowing that I deserve to be here, and then understanding that uh, I have to have confidence in what I do, right? Because when it's like like I said, I always brag about this journey, right? I always brag about this journey. It's all good until you get there, and then you're like, oh well, hold on. I've been chasing this down here. Like now what do I do? So that was kind of my mindset my rookie year a little bit. And then I wasn't playing as much. So I was a little lost because I'm thinking I go to the NFL and everything's gonna keep going according to plan and I'm gonna play a lot and it's gonna go off like that. But my story being my story, that's never how it goes. So, I wasn't playing much and then I was just kind of feeling a little down about it. But then the off season rolls around. I'm like, well, this is my chance. I know I'm gonna play this year, and I just know I was a first round pick. They gotta let me play. They gotta see what I'm made of, right? So I knew my chance was coming, and I just trained my butt off. And but at the same time, I just had ultimate confidence. Like I deserve to be here. Let's go do it. Let's go tear it up. I know when that ball snaps, it's gonna be fun. So just kind of those are the two most attributing things was just being confident, being ready, and then also getting that opportunity. Obviously, you can't do anything without opportunity.
Did you have any mentors or heroes that you looked to growing up?
My mom, my older brother, because my older brother, I'm just gonna say it flat out, he messed up a lot. Like he didn't graduate high school, and he didn't make it in the football world like he wanted to. But I never skip a beat to tell him that, as down as you want to feel about that, like thank you, like you were the guinea pig so that I can learn. And even I almost screwed that up, So I always just tell him like, thank you so much. I just learned from you, and even not just the screwing up. We had lots of talks, and he came with me to junior college at Independence, so he was there with me for 2 years. So I always had him as a rock and a support system in my life, and yeah, I just I wouldn't be here without him and without his support. So it was always good to have your big brother,
I'm I'm
support
smiling because that's like a perfect brother to brother comment. Hey, thanks for teaching me what not to do.
you. Basically.
We talked at the beginning, or I did anyway, about the overcoming adversity and you have to struggle. So, I mean, being sidelined last year with the Achilles injury had to be a huge setback, something that you struggled with.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked.
In an interview when it first happened, you mentioned you give yourself this kind of 24 to 48-hour period to mourn, and then it's back to work, which is a great attitude. Or is there a story behind that 24 to 48-hour mourning period?
I mean, yeah, my story, even on and off the field, I grew up and there's a lot of stuff happening. And even in my football journey, a lot of stuff's happening. And I just found the more I focused on what happened, the less I focus is on what's to happen. So I just that's how I went about it. I was just like, okay, well, and I've never been hurt. So it was a little shock, but then I thought, like, okay, well, it's a challenge like any other challenge. And what do we do with challenges? I might have a bit of split personality because I talk to myself a lot like that. Like when I face challenges, I just like to keep myself in check. And that's what happened. I popped my Achilles and just talking to myself, like, okay, well, we do with challenges. Go cry for a day, be sad for a day or two. But once this goes, we gotta flush it and next play mentality. It sounds corny, but it's the most effective way I found to deal with challenges for sure.
Appreciate that. I assume the first question is, how quick can I get back? And how'd you go about that kind of mindset conversation? If they told you X number of months, were you thinking you're going to split it in half or?
I mean, you like to be. I am that competitive, and that's always where I want to go with things. Is how can I beat out the last guy, or how can I beat out the guy who did it before? So that's where I'm going. Like, okay, well, he did this, I can do it in this much time. But I'm also a realist. You need to be a realist. You need to be extremely critical with yourself in order to see real progression in any facet of life. So I understand it's going to be the rest of the season, and I just was like, okay, well, I'm done this season. My job is to be ready for camp. That's just right where my head went. So, however that looks, and I always like to say the kind of metaphor. It's just if the mountain is the goal, right, and the road is the journey ahead, and the stripes on the road are the days. I was just kind of focusing on each stripe passing me. As long as I keep those stripes passing me and I tack them, pretty soon I'll look up, I'll be at the mountain. That's kind of how I tacked it. And, you know, I always had my faith in there and just lean on God, like, hey, I'm trusting you. I trust you. I'm gonna do my job, But there's never really any doubt. Just I knew as long as I was ready, the opportunity would be there. And
Now, did you have to talk to the reporters after right after that injury, or is that something you chose to do?
no, I didn't at all. They actually told me not to, or they told like, hey, like the reporters didn't want to talk to. I told them like, no, like leave them and we'll head out. I'm like, it's okay, I can talk. It happened. So I just decided to talk to them to kind of that was my first opportunity to face this with, a little bit of stoicism, a little bit of faith, a little bit of, unmovingness. Just I'm not scared of this. That was my first opportunity to stare it in the face, is to accept it happened, and then, put my faith out there and put my faith in myself as well, and just tell everybody it's all right. It happened. I'll be back.
Was the recovery smooth sailing, or was there a low point in the recovery where you weren't having confidence? Or I mean, you sound pretty confident no
No,
matter what, so that's probably not.
no, it was never any big low points. It was more like instead of like being like this, it was just like that. Like it was just like, oh, I'm not feeling it today, or oh, I feel great today. Let's do this. I'm gonna come back and be the best player ever, or this is frustrating. Just kind of like that. It was just a lot of up and down, pretty frequent, but I just knew as long as, discipline beats motivation every time. So as long as I was disciplined and knocking out my work every day and did it with intent, and there's a plan. These people, at Elite Ortho Sport, they do a great job. They went to school for this. They handle a lot of high profile athletes with injuries, and obviously my team here, the New York Jets, same thing. They go to school for this. They get paid a lot for this, so I'm gonna put my faith in them, and I'm gonna master what I can master, which is coming here and doing this work with intent every day. And I figured I'd be all right.
My team caught up with you during that rehab process. It was pretty intense watching you, so it was no joke, the work you put in.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
I would imagine, like, part of it too isn't just the getting healed and strong again, but was there any mental challenge to you? Like, fear of getting hurt again? Like, so do you go at it do you have to did that ever I don't wanna put a bad thought in your mind, so I don't mean to do that. It
No,
would seem like
no.
fear of like, "Hey, can I do the same thing I did before without getting hurt?" Is there a moment of where you gotta overcome that doubt in coming back?
I mean, yeah, 100%. Anyone that's injured, they hit this point where it's like, okay, well, you're okay now, but now you gotta make sure you're okay, and you gotta trust your body. And for me, I was just like, hey, shit happens. Shit did happen, and it's okay now. And then until knock on wood, shit happens again, you go full speed. So that's kind of how I approached it. And once the doc said you're good, I went right back to being me.
I think Jermaine, with or without football, you're gonna do just fine because the way you think about things, it seems pretty obvious.
No, I appreciate that, man.
The Jets, showed a little faith and picked up your 5th year. What's that mean to you to have them go early and do that?
Well, it means a lot, man. And I'm not gonna toot my own horn a little bit or anything, but I mean, I look freaking good. So it's business wise, it's probably smart for them, but and on the other more humble side of the stick, 100%, I'm so grateful, because they did not have to do that, but I'm just glad I was able to, once I was out there, to put enough on tape and put enough in the locker room, and in my teammates' hearts, that they know what I'm made of, they know what I'm about, and they felt confident, pulling that trigger and letting me know they want me here for a fifth year.
When you think about this season, what are your goals then for this year? What would be a great comeback year for you?
Make it out the season healthy. That's first thing that's on my mind. And that's kind of like, it's kind of the only personal goal for me, because I don't like, obviously I want to get a lot of sacks. Obviously I want to get another pick six. Obviously I want force fumbles, like whatever it is, like that's always going to be me. Like when I play, like that's how I play. Like I want to make plays, but I attack the week the same week in, week out. It doesn't matter. I just hope by the end of the season, I pray by the end of the season, that after I go about my work like that I can exit healthy, and, the team's successful, and I can be relied upon as a pillar to lean on.
I'm from Chicago, so a lifetime Bears fan, so I've had my share of, losing seasons.
Oh, I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
I've had
that.
my share of
Yeah.
losing seasons. The Jets seem to be in a similar mode right now. Maybe some drama last year, a coach change. Outside looking in, people can have all kinds of opinions or whatever, but how do you feel the team culture is?
It's good, man. We got a bunch of high character guys in there. Got a bunch of talented guys in there. We got a lot of new faces playing with a lot of, old faces in terms of who's on the roster and who's new to the roster. So, I mean, we just all have to put it together. But the best part, it's gonna sound corny and cheesy, but the best part about being 0-4 is, well, no more expectations. It's all we're on 4. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna respond? And now we have great opportunity here to respond. You want to be known for the guys that went 0-17, 1-16, like no, or do you want to be known for guys that they started rough, but hey, they finished strong, and I think that's the group of guys we have here. So I'm excited for that challenge.
How important do you think at the NFL level is culture?
Yeah.
And then how do you view your role in it?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. In high school, you got one guy on your team that's amazing, right? Two guys, maybe. That's like amazing. In college, it's probably more like, 5, 6, 7 guys. In NFL, it's like every starter out there is pretty good. Where it was always the best guys where they were. So that just tells you that, hey, now that the playing level is evening out in terms of talent, that makes you need to get an edge elsewhere, ever more important. So whether it be culture, whether it be character, whether it be all the intangibles I like to talk to the guys about, violence, effort, passion, mental, all that stuff weighs even more heavily on the game in the NFL because everybody's talented. What are you going to do to separate yourself? And like you just said, culture, that's a huge one because you're going to play way harder for something that's bigger than you, than just yourself. So when you're going out there and you're like, oh, I'm going to go get a sack today, you're probably gonna tap out a little faster, get more tired a little faster when that's your focus. When you go out there and you're like, "Hey, I know the guy next to me. He's got 3 kids. He's married. I know he loves to do this. I know this is his contract year. I know, he would die for me. I know this guy. He loves me. Right? You're probably not gonna tap out ever, if at all. So it's always important to establish like, hey, like who we need good culture guys, good character guys in here because if I know that guy next to me, I'm gonna give that much more. And when you got 11, 22 guys operating like that, you're gonna be that much more tough of a team for people to handle. So once we put all that together and we can kind of put our DNA on tape on game days, I think we'll be okay.
I'm assuming that New York is similar to Chicago in that when things aren't going well, there's a lot of commentary and opinions. Do you read the bad press? Do you ignore it?
I personally don't care. Well, like I told you, how I address my work is going to be the same every time. Now, these are the most passionate fans in the NFL. I mean, they love the team. They love when we win, but that also means they hate when we lose. So they're going to let you know about it. So in my eyes, it's just accountability. Hey, now it could be a little, a little much sometimes, but that means they're passionate. It's like if your coach is yelling at you, some guys would take that bad, but I'm like, well, you should probably be worried if your coach ain't saying nothing to you and you're doing bad, right? So just you got good fans, good passionate fans. So
So the noise don't bother you. That's what I heard.
nah, he's gonna look the same every day for 11.
So I've already heard some of them, but anything you would like to highlight about what you've learned from football that applies to life in general?
Yeah, I mean, it literally is as simple as how to do anything is how you do everything, and that's kind of what I learned. Football as a whole, because it's funny when you do things right off the field, more times than not. Yeah, football is a unpredictable game, but more times than not, you're going to do good on the field. So just making sure you do all the little things right, because that's easy. There's no reason you shouldn't be doing the easy stuff right, and that was kind of my MO when I was younger. So just making sure I'm staying on top of that and doing all the easy little things the right way. I think I'll be okay in life. And that's the same thing in a relationship, same thing as a father. Like, hey, maybe you are tired from work. Maybe you don't want to read a story to your little one because you want to go relax. You want to go watch a show, but that's a little thing. It's not hard reading a story to your kid, right? Or maybe you don't want to go to that thing your wife told you about 4 weeks ago because you forgot, right? And that's a little thing, and you can do that right. So it's life's about the little things, and that's kind of what football taught me is it's not that hard doing the hard things right. It just takes a little willpower, a little determination, but to do the little easy things right consistently, that's a little harder in my opinion. So once you master that, I think you'll be okay.
So you mentioned getting married soon. I think I read you got a,
Yeah.
a baby coming too, right?
Baby
Um,
boy. Yes, sir.
congrats on that. And we're a father already too, right? Or is this
Yes, yes. I have a 2-year-old little girl. Yes.
so congrats on everything going great on the home front too.
Thank you.
Any changes for you when you became a father in your perspective on life?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's funny. It was perfect timing when I became a father because, like I said, a lot of my motivations to get to the NFL were around making sure my family's okay, proving everybody wrong, right? Everybody talks about like find your why, but no one ever talks about, well, what happens when you have your why, but then you literally you succeed at accomplishing your why. Well, now you got to find a new why. And that was kind of hard for me in my first year because that's what happened. I achieved my why. My family's okay. My mom's okay. I proved everybody wrong in terms of making it to where I made it. But now you got to find a new why. And for me is, being a dad and then also playing well in the NFL. It's like, well, to me, I always was saying, I want to get to the NFL. I want to go to the NFL. I want to go first round. Well, that's what I did. I never was specific. It's the movie American Sniper. They say aim small, miss small. And well, I was aiming kind of big. I want to go to NFL in the first round. Well, I did that. But my rookie year, I didn't play much. And when I did, it didn't look like how I know it should have looked like. So, I had to adjust my why and update my why. So that's just kind of how I went about it.
From a personal brand perspective, are you doing work around trying to build one? It looked like you used to be a little more active before the injury than after from, say, a social media perspective. Is
Yeah.
that, on purpose? Or your work is done, you're gonna let your game speak for
No,
itself, or
no, 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 no. I mean, my thing, I've always been big on keeping the main thing, right? Until I feel like I'm back where I should be on the field, like I'm playing well. I'm playing well. Like when I'm out there, I'm not like a liability. Like I look good. I'm making plays here and there, but until I feel like I'm doing what I should on the field at a consistent basis, I really don't care for anything else. That's how I am. So that's kind of simple as that.
great focus? Are you a favorite in the locker room? What do you think maybe good things teammates would say about you and maybe a criticism they'd say about you?
I mean, I'm a good thing. Uh, I mean, I'll always be there for you. Relatable. I get along with pretty much anybody. Hard worker. I don't know. Whatever they say, I don't like to, you know, toot my own horn too much. I mean, I like to do it a little bit. Because there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. So I like to tread that a little bit. But
Yes,
uh,
and fullness doesn't serve you. You gotta say what you're good at, like, so, like,
exactly. Uh, a bad thing. Sometimes my locker can get a little messy. I just cleaned it a couple days ago
I didn't
because
well, that's awesome.
well, it's like I'll wear clothes into the office, and then I call the locker room the office. I wear clothes into the office, and then I'll change into like the team gear, and I'll go do stuff, shower, and I'll change into more team gear, and I'll leave my clothes that I wore there from home there. So I'll just accumulate a lot of clothes from home in my locker, and it'll kind of stack up. So that's probably one thing that they'd say bad about me is my locker can kind of get a little dirty sometimes.
Obviously, you did in the past as a kid thinking about the NFL. Do you still think far out when it comes to goals? Like, if I were to ask, where do you see yourself 15 years from now post NFL? Is that putting you on the spot, or do you think about l life later on?
No, I already know where I'll be in 15 years. I'll be at my son's practice. I'll be at my daughter's recitals. Uh, I'll just be a old retired regular dude, being a hell of a dad. And, that's something my fiance's dad asked me a while ago. He's like, well, what's your goal, in the end? I'm like, just to be a dad, to do this part of my life so well that when I'm done, I can just focus on my kids because I think that's going to be so fun to help be a part of the development and, be a dad that they can brag about and be a dad that, helps them and they trust and stuff like that that come to when things aren't going well. And, that's my dream. After I'm done with this chapter, hopefully I achieve everything I want to achieve here, but I'll have no problem closing the book because I got a hell of another chapter waiting for me I'm excited about.
Yeah, I got a 6-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. They're a great time. So I
Yeah.
can understand wanting to do more with them for sure. Thanks again for spending the time. We usually close the podcast with a question. We're all about championing people. And so always ask the question, if there's a person in your life that you'd like to champion right now, who would it be and why?
Yeah, probably my older brother. I gave him a little love before. But I know that, he lives this far away, and he's got his family, and he's doing real world stuff right now, working a lot. And I know sometimes he can feel a little separated, because like I said, we shared a room in high school until senior year. We were in junior college together, so we're always used to being around each other. So just a shout out to him. And he's such a pivotal point in my development as a man, as an athlete, and as a partner and stuff like that. So, just a huge shout out to him. He'll always be a champion in my book.
He'll appreciate that. Thanks again, Jermaine. Like, time went really fast in this, so appreciate you spending it with us.
And did time flies by when you're enjoying yourself, for sure. Thank you for the time, Matt.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you want more PodCrash in your life, which of course you do, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch you next time.